I want to start this video by saying I do apologize for mispronouncing our QB's name in my last video. And I do want to start this video by letting y'all know that I went and looked it up and I know how to say it now, so I'm gonna say it correctly. It's not Tagovailoa, it's Tagovailoa. Thank you all for pointing that out in the last video and helping me get better at this. Now let's get into the video. Well, Fins fans, it happened. Miami Dolphins got beat by the Bills in a rough game where we just couldn't get anything going for the majority of the game. I do have a lot of takeaways from this game. It isn't all doom and gloom for us. There were good plays and we did start out hot, but things fell apart, so I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of it. Now, I do want to start with the bad and the ugly for this game because losing by 4 scores is not something that should happen to a team like this. And I do think it all starts with coaching. Specifically, Fangio needs to get this defense clicking. That's the bottom line. There's a ton of talent on this defense. I feel it's not being utilized properly. The Bills did as they pleased against this defense. They ran the ball well and Josh Allen was lighting us up over the top. The scheme just wasn't working and that didn't really change throughout the course of the game. There were some things out of Fangio's control. Some horrible tackling and bad coverage attempts. Let up big plays too. The defense as a whole needs to step back and attempt to rediscover their identity, because we cannot let teams score on this as easily if we want to make a serious run in the postseason. And sadly, the offense ain't off the hook neither. They didn't help the defense much at all. After the first 2 amazing drives, Miami began to steal out hard and wasn't giving the defense much time to rest and prepare for the next drive. The play calling on offense began to infuriate me, as we shied away from our explosive play calling in favor of runs and short passes. And I do understand the Bills were bringing the heat. The O-line, especially after Armstead went down, fell apart under that pressure. But the run game and short pass game was not working, and we didn't try to do anything about it. It really did almost feel like we were giving up, even though the game didn't really get away from us badly until the middle of the third. And I don't want to get too into this because I despise using the refs as any sort of excuse, but they weren't doing us many favors this game. Penalties dug us deeper and made it so much harder to compete with this Bills team that was just running all over us. I do have some positive takeaways from this game, and I do want to urge y'all to remember we are a good team, and good teams lose sometimes. We can't just focus on the negative. We need to recognize that Miami made good plays too, and not every single player on the field played bad. Some had really good games, and we can't just ignore that. I want to start with Tua. This game was not his fault. Let's just clear that up right now. He had an ugly pick, but Tua was honestly just trying to make a play, and I won't fault him for that. The offense needed some sort of spark. It was dead. And sometimes that just don't work out that way, and in this game especially, nothing was going our way. Tua played a good game, completing 25 of 35 for 282 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He also averaged 8.1 yards per pass, which isn't horrible. Tua did what he could. He was under pressure all game and wasn't given a lot of time to throw. He was sacked 4 times after only being sacked once leading up to this game, and he honestly avoided even more sacks by running around and getting the ball out on time. Tua did play well. There honestly just wasn't much he could do because of the constant pressure, and with Tyreek going out middle of the game when we needed him most, was honestly just one of like the final straws for this struggling Miami team. And now I'm going to get into someone I am genuinely excited about for this Dolphins team, and that is Devon Achane. Man, can that kid run. I mean, 8 runs for 101 yards and 2 tutties. What a day for the Rook. After his monster performance last week in Denver, he came ready to play this week as well. He averaged 12.6 yards per attempt, and it was one of the only bright spots on this offense. A lot to be excited about with him. I think I'm going to do his own video later in the week, so I'm going to leave a lot of it for then. And as many of you probably know, Jalen Phillips has been out these past few weeks with an injury, and a certain man with the last name Van Ginkel has stepped in for him, and boy oh boy is the gangster an animal on the field. I mean, 4 tackles and 2 sacks. He was making his presence known despite the defense struggling. Van Ginkel was turning up out there, making plays and trying to keep Miami in this game the best he could. He's another player I think I'm going to do his own individual video on, so I'm going to save more info on how good he's been playing for later in the week. Other than that, David Long made some good tackles here and there, and Braxton Berrios again this week, making some very impressive catches. I do love what I've seen from Braxton. I mean, he might get his own video soon if he keeps playing the way he is, but he really is like kind of this hidden gem, this like secret weapon in this stacked Dolphins receiving core. He just comes out of nowhere and just makes an amazing play. I mean, you gotta love to see it. That's something that, you know, is very valuable to the team. Have a low profile person that can make talented plays when his number is called. I mean, I just want to make sure he's getting his dues for that. And, you know, the Dolphins community kind of realizes that together because, you know, Braxton Berrios, he is playing really well and he is vital to this team. I love to see that. But what I do want to say about the overall from this game is it was humbling. Great teams can take a loss on the chin and learn from it, and that's exactly what I expect Miami to do. Down the stretch, this should only make us a better team. And next week, we do travel home to play the Giants, which should be a good bounce-back game for us. This season is still very long, many games ahead of us. It's only week 4. We got to take it 1 week at a time, boys. And I know we'll be ready for Buffalo come January, when honestly, I don't want to say like playoffs will be in the lines, but, you know, probably leading the division, possibly, you know, getting a bye week for the wild card could be on the line. We played them week 17, final game of the season at home. So, I mean, that will be a must-win when it comes. And, you know, them winning this time only makes that their game to lose, their division to lose more than likely. And I just, you know, I expect by then the Dolphins will just be a significantly better team than we even are now, even after putting up 70 on the Broncos and beating the Chargers in a shootout. I don't care. By the end of this season, we will be a better team. We will be a complete team ready for the playoffs, ready for a Super Bowl run. Don't y'all forget that, boys. Fins up as always. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. I'm out.